Well, how many backyards start out like this with great intentions of putting in grass seed, but there's a lot of rocks and there's a little bit of soil? In order to talk about grass, I brought in the professional, Jerry Anderson from Anderson Sod Farms. How are you doing, Jerry?
Very good.
Well, where do we go from here?
Well, looking around this site, we have to remove this overburden, start looking at some general site grades, take an overview for the general exposure and the use of this backyard. And north being this way, it suggests that this is a restricted light backyard. And without further ado, we'd like to suggest that we take you out to the farm and show you some selections which would be a reasonable fit for this backyard use.
Let's do it. Jerry, I find this really exciting. First opportunity for me to walk on a turf farm. How many acres you got here?
We got 400 acres here, Shel.
400 acres. Now, how long does it take to, say, grow sod like we're walking on here?
It takes 1 year. This is 1 year old, and all our selections are basically 1 year old.
Oh, and why sod over planting grass seed?
Well, we have a very clean environment, and we can grow it for 1 year in a controlled situation, as opposed to seed. You'd have to just throw the seed down and take what you get.
Wow, I'll tell you, that lawnmower this went by here, I tell you, it was as big as my garage.
This is our mower vacuum, which mows and collects the grass clippings. It makes about a 21-foot pass.
Wow. Now, the machine itself, where would you have something like that built?
We built that ourselves for our own use. We're accumulating about 120 cubic yards of grass clippings a day, which we compost and put back on the fields after we've harvested the sod off.
Oh, that's great. Well, I'll tell you, that machine is something else.
We got more to show you here, Shel.
You betcha. Let's go. Well, Jerry, we're about a mile away from that other field, and this one looks blotchy. What's the scoop on that?
Well, this blotchiness that you see here, Shel, is a grass weed called annual bluegrass, which is a pesky little thing to control, and it costs more money for us to control it. This particular selection is a commercial type quality and ends up being sold on commercial type projects, not necessarily residential.
Well, I see it, though, on some subdivisions in residential areas.
Well, some folks are trying to cut corners or and save a little bit of money, but more often than not, they're ill-informed at the time of purchase, and they're thinking they're buying something of quality, but yet this is what they have when they roll out.
Well, good, better, best. I want the best in that project we're going to do.
Well, let's go take a look at that now, Shel. This is a Brower Sod Harvester that cuts the sod in 1 square yard rolls. And we bring it to your place like this.
Jerry, there seems to be some blades in there that are almost as fine as hair, and there's some wider blades, and there's some shiny ones. Why is that?
Well, Shel, we use on all our selections, we use 3 basic species of grass. The fine ones are the fine leaf fescues, the coarser ones are the Kentucky bluegrass, and the in-between ones, the shiny back ones, are the perennial ryegrass. And this particular selection is the higher fescue content, which is the fine one. And we're going to use that. That's a more shade tolerant. This is our shade turf, and we're going to use that in the backyard.
Oh, good, better, best. Let's get the best stuff out to that job.
Okay.
And look at this truck. There's only 2 like it, and they were designed by Anderson Sod Farm. And watch how the forklift comes down off the top of this truck and runs the sod right to the job site where it's easily handled. Now, Brian and Craig here are very particular as they level out the subsoil. They want to have a nice uniform layer of topsoil to go down. Now, before they do the topsoil application, they're going to put down a layer of dolomite lime. Now, once the dolomite lime is put down, the topsoil will be put in place, and then we'll be all ready for the sod. Jerry, how much topsoil would we normally use?
We like to see 4 to 6 inches of consistent topsoil underneath the sod.
So because of our subsoil conditions here having a lot of gravel and eliminating the rototilling, we decided to go in with the lime and then put down 1 to 2 inches. So that's going to be adequate.
You betcha it is, Shel. Shel, now we're putting on a high phosphate root starter fertilizer, and then we're going to roll the sod out on top of that.
Jerry, what are some of the tips that you can give us on laying the sod outside of the fact that green side always goes up?
Well, Shel, first of all, we want to start installing the lawn on the longest run in a straight line parallel to an edge. That'll make trimming a lot easier later on.
Right. Down here, I'm butting them up and running them out, but with a pattern.
Yeah, we have a brick type pattern going on. That affords us to keep the joints from being lined up in a row, which can open up later on if it dries a little bit.
That way I'm passing this seam here, so I'm splitting it just like laying brick. Jerry, where we come up against the old existing lawn here, we've got a number of triangle pieces. How do we cope with that?
Well, Shell, what we'll use is we'll take a full roll and roll it out on the very edge.
Oh, right over top of the triangle.
We're going to use this roll to scribe. That's
okay. Hey, it's just like laying carpet.
Okay, now we got that. We'll just use a conventional lino knife. Okay, and we'll cut that.
And then I'll bet you we roll it back up again and take the pieces out.
That's right.
Aha! That's just like double cutting on flooring.
And it also accomplishes getting a full piece on the edge of the lawn, and any piecing of small chunks of sod would be on the inside, and it wouldn't tend for those little pieces to shove the stuff out.
Great. Jerry, that sod looks absolutely great. To think, just a few hours after being delivered, roll it out and it's green already.
That's right. Now all we have to do now, Shell, is keep it watered for the first 7 to 10 days, and we'll be ready for a mow.
I really feel that it's a do-it-yourself project, isn't it?
It sure is. Of all the things around the house, we feel that putting in your own sodded backyard is definitely one that most people can do themselves.
Well, I can tell you one thing, Jerry. I know where your green comes from. Thank you very much for coming out and giving us a lowdown on sod.
It's been a pleasure, Shell.
You bet.